Welcome to our D&D painting stream. We're back, and we're going to be doing a short session today, just gluing a whole bunch of dungeon tiles together. So, what we have here are all sorts of pieces. I have some more behind me of dungeon sets. And we use these on our D&D stream, which airs on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, so what we're doing first, and we'll walk you through the process, is putting these little tiny magnet balls into some of the bases. And these bases are gonna be what the dungeon set pieces get glued onto. An end product might look something like this. It's a little singular modular piece, all painted and glued together. It has magnets under it, and it will hold itself together with similar pieces in order to let you create dungeons to play in. If you're interested in these models or any other ones that we use on the stream, we 3D print them ourselves, but their designs can be found on our website at dysondungeons.com. And under the Attributions tab. So, be sure to check those out if you're interested. So, what we are doing, and one thing I'm gonna do quick is take a little picture of what we're doing beforehand, and then sort of show a finished picture later. So, with that taken, for the moment, we're going to just get all of these bases set and ready to be glued. And once they're all ready with the magnets, we're going to be using a 5-minute epoxy to assemble all the pieces. I'll be placing them on the counter behind me. My dad here will be in charge of the application of the glue, and I will make sure that they are all as straight on as possible. We're going to start with some of the larger, simpler pieces. We have some interesting, complex pieces in this large set we've been building. We got through the bulk of the simple pieces, and now we are working on the more like unique, detailed pieces. So I have some doorways we're building. We have some walls with arrow slits in them. And some little 1x1 hallways and short corners. All sorts of little pieces. And a lot of them, there's no more than 5 or 6 each, so it'll be interesting.
Are those hallway pieces there?
These are, yeah, 2 tile long, 1 tile wide hallways with 2 walls on each side. Those 6. I'm going to start with the larger, simpler ones first and move from there. Sometimes the magnet balls will pull each other out of these holes, which is always fun, and something to look out for if you're ever doing this at home.
They do hold together kind of in interesting ways.
Well, that's actually their intent. They're actually
an art thing,
like an art toy sort of sort of thing. So you getting the epoxy ready?
Starting to get out the cleaner, isopropyl alcohol. As long as the epoxy hasn't been set yet, we'll allow for cleanup. Like
Especially
fingers.
fingers, because there's a lot going on. I'm moving some of the set pieces out of the way in order to clear some room for the drying glue. And there's a lot of these sort of complex multi-piece sets that we're building in this batch, which should be interesting, because the more pieces there are, the more possibilities there are to get them wrong. So if we can start with 7 squares, full squares, as our first batch. That can give me a little time to get these more straightforward, simple pieces together, which means they're not here and in the way.
And we're starting to get to the very end of this.
Of the epoxy too. So 5-minute epoxy, the 5-minute means it sets in 5 minutes from start. And the way epoxy works is it's a 2-stage glue, where you start with the epoxy and a hardener in 2 separate bottles. When they're combined, it begins a chemical process to harden the epoxy glue. And in this case, it's 5 minutes until it's hard, and you can't really use it anymore for gluing. But it also means that you're not waiting 10 minutes, 10 hours, whatever length for it to set. So that's why we're using the 5-minute for this sort of
thing.
thing.
You want it in all the spots like usual.
Yeah. For these 7, yes. I'm going to start with the doorways. So with these, you have a dungeon floor and a door frame that sits right on top of the base. Like so. And I have 4 of these. And the main thing is making sure the hinge faces the right way with the floor on these. And making sure they're standing upright. And for these next 3, we have these arrow slits. So what I want is the wide part of the arrow slit facing inward. That way anyone shooting out can angle their bow. Can you wipe that down? I put it on upside down. That was me acting in haste.
Fortunately, the isopropyl alcohol goes with Scott.
Okay. I'm gonna leave those be. Clean my fingers quick. Can you do 8?
I'm gonna do 6 and 3.
So that would be 9.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking if we can do these 6.
Mm-hmm.
And could we squeeze 2 of these in, or would that be too tight?
That would be. We'll do that as a second.
We'll do the just the 6 then. So while you're getting that ready, I'm going to put,
because of how quickly it sets up, there's only like so many you can get in
after mixing.
After mixing. And sometimes you can do 8, but that's really kind of pushing it.
So these are slightly complicated pieces. What I'm going for is a 1 tile, D&D tile wide hallway. So it's going to sit with that little hallway section in the middle and 2 walls on either side like this. So it's 4 pieces that I have to get all lined up perfectly on each of these bases. So it'll take a little bit of work to get.
And I'm trying to stand these points down because they're nearly empty. And I want the material to be near the knot.
Alright.
Nothing special about the placement of the epoxy.
Nope. It has to go over everything. Most of these will be like that. So, I take 2 floors, plop them in the middle, 2 walls, make sure I have the right side up, slide them on each side, and then a lot of the work happens over here, making sure they're straight. Well, as much as possible, at least. because it's such a complicated piece with so many parts, that just leaves a little error option always available. So I'm going to be moving a little slower relative to the glue placement here. Alright, and the last one. Okay, so with those done, I am going to be bringing over some more pieces. To clear space over here, and also to get ready for the next step. So, the next little group we're going to be doing here are similar to the ones we just did. In that they are a single wide hallway, but in this case they're only one deep. So they'll be like that. Additionally, I'm going to bring over, just so we can start prepping, some, I don't know how to describe them exactly, but tight corners. We also have two doors that have just a very shallow floor in front of them. If we get through all of these, then I think that's all we have today. As we're still printing out a few more of the smaller, unique pieces that we're printing for the very large set that we're building. Was that a ball that fell?
No, they were two. They jumped at each other.
Oh, okay. I'm sure we'll find that later.
Yep, it's right down at the bottom of the stool.
They usually attach to the metallic stool as they fall, so they're not particularly hard to find often.
No, and the bright colors help.
Okay. So, I have 4 of these small hallways and 2 of the door frames. So if we could aim for a group of 6.
6 would be good.
That might be an ideal number to start. Move these out of the way so that they are less likely to cause a problem. The doorways are the same as the other ones, they just have a very small floor in front of them. So I'm gonna get those done first, and then tackle the harder hallways. If you're curious, these are what the doors look like. Oops. They're a small iron banded door that when they're painted, they look quite nice. These are actually not getting glued in yet, they get attached later. I'm putting them in a bucket with all the others that need to be primed. But now we have glue going, so I'm gonna get to it. Alright, now for these complicated little hallways. Just like before, but smaller. Drop those down, and I want to just make sure that the walls line up correctly and are facing the right direction. These are subtly complicated pieces. So the next grouping we have is 8. I'm gonna suggest we do 4 and 4 because they're complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that works.
Alright, so once I clear off my fingers, I'll show everyone how these little corners work. So we have these smaller bases that are going to be glued up. And then we have 4 pieces. It's a long wall, a short wall, a longer tile, and a small square tile. When these go on the bases, you set one part down and another part down, like that, to create a corner. In the smallest corner, you put your single square tile, and then in the further out part, you put your rectangular tile. And this creates a very small, shallow corner, which is hard to see because it's all black. And I can't really lift it without having it come apart. But if I remove that, you see there's 2 tiles there. The wall just sits right on those tiles like that, and creates a very tight and good corner. Now I wonder if there's any issues with orientation. Like, so if I do that, like that direction, versus that direction, those are separate types of pieces, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll do 50-50.
I don't know. Or you might want to ask Alexis if she wants some.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always make more.
Let me refer to the master document and see if I can tell. Corners. So the way I think these work, I want 4 of each.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. We can always print more as needed, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to do all of this batch right facing wall, oriented to me. And the next batch is going to be the reverse of that. And these are going to take a minute to get set. They're very complicated to put together. Right side wall. Okay, that piece is assembled. Now to get it. And this is why we're only doing 4 at a time, because I would run out of time otherwise. And the last one for the right sides.
Mix up the next batch, or do you want to take a little break?
Just give me a second so I can clean the
Mm-hmm.
so hard.
Yeah, it's hard to get them all lined up and standing straight.
You're making sure the floors aren't seeping in because they don't have inner powder.
Oh yeah, the little bits. The larger of the two at least has two sides supported. Little one in the middle. Mm-hmm.
So, that's as good as they're gonna get. We're going to do the last 4, and then we're gonna be done with this batch. And these are going to be left aligned walls. Whew. Here's what I did last stream. A little arcane crystal I painted.
Ooh, you're right about the turquoise and the black. It makes it look really foreboding.
I wanted it to look sort of foreboding and arcane with like glowing veins. So that's what my last painting stream was.
You put a lot of effort into those crystals.
Well, there's a lot of experimentation, painting over and over and over to try and get a look that I like.
Make you look.
All right, now for the left aligned walls. Just as I started to get used to the right aligned walls, we swapped to the opposite.
Going okay?
Yeah, they're just very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And any micro movements that I make, sliding them into a good curing position,
Moves everything else, right?
shifts absolutely everything.
This is why we're only doing 4 at a time.
Alright, and last one, hopefully. Roughly in place, and I'll be over there getting it all set. That's what I call as good as they're gonna get. So,
Well,
what we have
glued up a lot of
is
pieces.
a little array of pieces all gluing over here. They'll be done in about 5 minutes. I'll give them longer just to be safe. Otherwise, we have more pieces on the way. Not too many though, we're pretty close. These still have the printing sprues in them, but there's some windows. These little bits inside get removed, but they're support structures for the printing process. We have another arrow slit on the way, and a couple other just random bits here and there. But that's it for today. It was just a nice quick stream to get the everything together. Remember to check out our FizzBand's limited art cover giveaway that we're doing. The winner will be announced on the 5th of December. I believe there's a giveaway page that gives you the details for it on our website, DysonDungeons.com. Otherwise, you can find it on our Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And
thanks for tuning in.
we will see you again soon. Bye.